So this video is the top 20 products and procedures you asked me to cover in rapid fire. So today, every 50 seconds, I'm going to tell you what it is, who it's for, and what can go wrong. I'll give you the price and my rule for it. If you stay to the end, you'll avoid two trends that are causing the most expensive regret in 2026. You want to avoid those two. Now, if you don't see your inquiry here in this video, just ask it in the comment section and I'll make a short clip on anything you're asking me to cover. You see my short clips lately, like this one? Well, YouTube now allows me to respond in video to your question in the frame like you see on this one. See where the question comes up and then I can answer. I'll do more of those for you. So make sure you're subscribed and you'll get alerted to them when I post those. They're huge value in my opinion. For those new, I'm Dr. Rajani and this is what I do. I assess faces for a living. I treat faces, develop procedures, I do injectables, I build skincare. I obsess over routines that actually work in real humans, not just in marketing decks, and I travel the world to bring it to you. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to send me a check. You don't need to join a secret skincare society where we chant retinol at midnight. If you like that, I ask just one thing. Hit the like and subscribe. Number one, EndoLift. This was the most popular thing you asked me about. And it's a procedure that looks really cool on TikTok. Look at it here. What is it? Well, it's inside out tightening using a laser fiber to heat and contract the tissue. And that redness you see underneath the skin, that shows you where the fiber optic device is. This EndoLift procedure, it uses laser energy, so it's not radio frequency, but laser, and it's delivered by an ultra-thin optical fiber. Yes, it does heat the tissue. That does a couple things. One, stimulates long-term collagen remodeling, and two, you can melt a little bit of fat with it. So where is it the most popular? The lower face, the jawline, the submentum. It also does well for the smile lines and the thin skin by helping remodel and build some collagen along the cheek area. Now, who is it best suited for? Those with mild to moderate laxity of the jawline, lower face, or refinement of the neck. So the biggest mistake and risk, treating it like a facelift and overselling the outcome. My rule, if you need skin removed, don't buy heat and hope. Price? This is going to cost people about $2,500. Number two, another kind of cool device you asked me about was Ellacore or microcoring. I did a complete video. You guys wanted an update. What is it? Well, it removes tiny columns of skin mechanically. So it's like a sewing machine, boom, 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 boom. And the needles go in, they're hollow cord. And when the needle comes out, it takes skin with it. So it's micro skin removal without a traditional facelift incision. It's purely mechanical, no laser, no heat. Who's it for? Select mid and lower face laxity in the right candidate. You need to be the right skin color. So it's because you're going in creating holes in the skin and they repair and tighten. Let's look at a couple of before and afters. Here you can see 1 month after one procedure, a nice result. Now here you can see 3 months after a single procedure. Of note, with this device, you can take more or less skin, so you can set it to be more or less aggressive. This would have been a more aggressive treatment. Looks like a skin type 3. A key question for people is, if you spent $2,500, would you be happy with this result? I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. Now this one here, this is 1 month after 2 treatments. Granted, if you look at the expression on the before on the left, you can see she's pursing her mouth downward, as if she needs a little bit of Botox in her depressor anguli oris. If she had a neutral expression, her result likely wouldn't have been as good as is depicted in the picture on the right. Now here's another one. This is 6 months after 3 procedures. So it's, like I said, it's about $2,000 or $2,500 per procedure. And there's definitely some pain and bloodiness involved. As with all procedures, your question becomes, is that worth that result for what I went through? And I can't answer that, but you likely can. Let's move on and comment below. You want to be skin type 1 through 3. I would be about the darkest, and I'm a 4. Anything beyond that, you want to be really worried that you might get pigmentation afterwards because you're taking a coarse skin out. So what we call post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation or even scarring. Now, these procedures, it's kind of like a bloody mess. There's a lot of blood. You have to mess the area with lidocaine. You got to be careful there. You actually heal pretty quick, just in a few days, despite how kind of gruesome the procedure can look. The biggest mistake and risk, thinking it tightens ligaments or replaces surgery. And then there's the cost. So you need a few of these. It removes skin, great. It does not rewrite your anatomy. I think in general, this concept is going to improve over the coming years. For most people, they're not going to get the results they want at the price they want because you're going to approach $5,000 to $15,000 and do multiple procedures that are a bit bloody and painful. But it is on the table, and there's a laser form called UltraClear. That's a thulium laser, does laser coring. It's not mechanical skin removal. That's one to look into too, and that's about $2,000. Number 3, monopolar RF tightening. Think Thermage category. And there's many of these coming to North America from Korea. I was just over in Korea, and many of them they see the opportunity here. These are a staple in Korean clinics. What is it? It's deep radio frequency heating that improves collagen by denaturing the proteins and allowing your body to build it back with a little bit of inflammation. Who's it best for? Those with mild laxity, crepey texture around the neck. They want better skin quality, but it's not a facelift. The biggest problem is in Korea, they combine these with RF microneedling, with the Ulthera ultrasound exfoliation all in one day. The cost of this is going to be about $3,000 to $5,500. So $3,000 to $5,500. And so that's fairly expensive. So for North America, people think, well, I'll get a Thermage procedure instead of a facelift or to delay a facelift. But really, it's collagen banking. 20 to 30% of people, they will feel like they got a almost facelift result. Those are mostly people in their 40s. It's also not going to fix rapid weight loss or GLP-1, Ozempic or Wegovy type of SAG. It's the wrong tool. It can be part of a process, but you're still going to need likely injectable biostimulators in that case. Number 4, because after Thermage, you're going to say, what about Ulthera? Yes, and there's 2 popular ones in the United States and Canada now. Ulthera, which is Ultherapy, and Sofwave is another one. Ulthera came out, I had one of the first ones ever around, you're going back to like 2007, 8, something like that. And that was a very primitive one that I had to start. Last year, they came out with their latest one called Prime. That one has better real-time visualization of the layers of the face called the SMAS. So you essentially target the SMAS with heat from ultrasound. That allows for precision. The newer Ulthera also is more comfortable and a little bit quicker. So the technology's updated. Sofwave uses similar technology, less visualization, and Sofwave also can be used for cellulite. But they use the same type of heating technology using ultrasound. Now, who is this best for? Again, it's like Thermage. It's great for collagen banking. About 20 to 30% of people say, yeah, I kind of see a facelift result. Mainly people in their 40s before the estrogen plummet. So early laxity. It also gives a nice brow lift, especially for about a year, 6 months to a year. You get some jawline support. And just remember, over in Korea, yeah, they're very common, but they add everything else to it too. It's a part of many steps, not just singular. The biggest mistake here, again, doing one session and expecting a surgical result. My rule, ultrasound, it's a nudge, not a crane, not heavy lifting. Cost here, similar to Thermage. Think about $4,000 to $5,000 for a single session. Expect more ultrasounds to come. With Thermage, you have home RFs. With ultrasound, you don't really have a lot of home ultrasounds. There's none in the United States, but there are home ultrasound devices in other countries like Korea, Japan, Thailand, Singapore. The one in America that's RF is called NUA. Number 5, of course, RF microneedling. I did a popular video on the FDA warning on this. What is it? It's needles that go into the skin and are heated, either the full length of the needle that goes in or just the tip, depending on the device. Morpheus is popular. Many people know Silfirm. Lutronic has a Genius or an Infini. They all work similarly. Who's it for? Yes, it can help with pores. Scars, it's good at remodeling scars, good for crepey skin and early laxity. You can do several if you want more skin tightening, and I think this is one where you get a little more predictable lift, albeit it's a little more invasive because you have needles going into the skin, whereas Thermage and Ulthera, no needles go into the skin with those two. Biggest mistake here, overheating. People try and do one treatment instead of the 4 that it often takes. So they overtreat. That leads to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation because you have needles going in. So pigment problems. And yeah, some people lose face fat. I have complete videos on that in the FDA warning. I'll link at the end. My rule here, see an absolute expert, and you can get amazing results with RF microneedling. Your provider is absolutely key for perfect levels of the device. If you get 4 or 5 sessions at the right temperatures with someone who's examining your face after each session, you're going to likely be happy with it. If you try and get it done all at once, you'll probably have a lot of regret and fat loss that you don't want. Think about $1,000 per session and 4 sessions. Number 6, thread lifts. Here's one that's coming back. What is it? These are threads, lifting threads that are built off of the same thread technology that we sew people up with, but we know when we sew people up, collagen's produced around the wound. So then threads were taken, they're put underneath the skin, great, kind of like the baby face I talk about, but then people added barbs to those threads to get lift because everyone wants a facelift without surgery. That's where the problem came in. People got too complex with their reverse vectors with lifting threads. Threads got too big, and we went from PDO, polydioxanone, to longer lasting threads like PLLA and PCL, polycaprolactone. Good for the nose, bad for lifting threads in some cases because when you get a side effect, you cannot dissolve these. So I love smooth threads for building collagen. Lifting threads, you need to see an absolute expert. It's going to last you about a year. You need to be the right candidate. Too much sag or a face with no volume, think runners, fat loss, post-GLP-1, Wegovy, Ozempic. You can't just lift a sagging face. You need some structure and support. You need to be the right candidate, just like any procedure. It's not a facelift substitute, although it can delay them. Can you get a facelift after threads? Absolutely. A lot of people who purchase threads are plastic surgeons as a stopgap or someone who had a facelift didn't quite get the result they wanted, so they add a few threads. Patient's now happy. How much? Smooth and twist threads for the baby glow. Yeah, you can get them as little as $500 a session. Lifting threads about $2,500 a session. And my rule, threads can lift, but they can't carry a couch. Think about repeating yearly and adding pointed fillers and biostimulators with them. And yes, a lot of plastic surgeons don't like them because just like biostimulators and Sculptra, they can delay facelifts. In fact, on the Sculptra front, most of the Sculptra in the United States is sold to plastic surgeons. And more plastic surgeons have Sculptra in their face by far than plastic surgeons ever getting a facelift. Plastic surgeons rarely themselves ever get a facelift. Number 7 was the Hydrafacial you guys asked about. What is it? Think of it like a deep cleanse. Exfoliation and hydration at the same time. And then you get that instant glow people like. Who is it for? Those with congestion, wide pores, dullness. You want a pre-event glow up? That's a great treatment. And obviously it's great for maintenance. The biggest mistake and risk, thinking that it builds collagen or tightens. It really helps with glow. And here's what it does. It preps your skin and it hydrates it and gets it ready for your active. It's all about skin barrier. Clean pores are not a facelift, but it is worth it. So yes, it's a huge part of the shift to a healthy barrier trend. The healthy barrier allowing everything to absorb and work better. Cost, Think about $200 a session. You might find a deal for $125. This is something you can shop around for and still be safe, unlike fillers or toxin. Which brings me to number 8, which is biostimulators. Think Sculptra, Hyperdilute Radiesse, and Goree. So what are these? Well, they're collagen stimulators. They improve skin thickness, and that's huge because thin skin is wrinkling skin. They improve firmness. So this is how we test whether you need them. We pull the skin out and look for bounce. And they do give long-term structural support. Goree in Asia is PCL, fragments of PCL. Sculptra is PLLA, polyl-lactic acid. Radiesse is, of course, calcium hydroxylapatite. So they're 3 very different, but they are used for biostimulation. Who are these for? Those with collagen loss, crepey quality skin, early sag. In fact, Sculptra did a study recently, and I was one of the first to present it. It was in Las Vegas. And what they did is they injected the Sculptra above the jawline, and they noticed that they got lifting, improvement of the jawline, yet Sculptra is not FDA approved to inject at the jawline, meaning using the product above the jawline tightened enough tissue where people's jawline saw improvement. That's huge. Now, we used to start people on these at 50 plus. We now start them at 30 plus. I think that's great. I think biostimulators at 30 really are preventive, and at 50, they're still powerful enough so people do see nice results. The biggest mistake here, trying to get instant results. These are longer term. You have to think longer term. Also, using it for the under eyes, lip lines, or the neck. There's too much muscular activity and nodules and irregular looks, irregular appearances are common if you use them in those 3 areas. My rule, in 2026, collagen is the currency. Think $1,000 a vial for these. Number 9, a lot of people ask for this one. It's CO2 laser. What is it? This is the heavyweight laser used for resurfacing for wrinkles, texture, and scars. It's the number 1 used by plastic surgeons during a facelift, meaning right after the surgery, they'll do CO2 so you recover from that because there is recovery. CO2 laser is a 10,600 nanometer laser. You can do full ablation, which is oftentimes too much, or you can do fractional ablation, which means you put in little dots, and you can watch me do CO2 laser on this channel. It puts down a pattern of dots where normal tissue is left between the treated skin. Because of that, you heal much quicker. So you don't have to treat the whole surface area of the skin. You get the benefit of less downtime and less side effects. That's what makes it fractionated. You treat a fraction of the skin. Who's it for? Those with significant texture issues, etched lines, acne scarring, or a lot of sun damage. The biggest mistake here, treating darker skin tones, so the wrong skin type, poor pre and post care, pigment issues upon healing, prolonged redness for too aggressive laser treatments, and other complications of the skin. Now, we do have Exobalm, which is a great post-healing product. So we now can prime the skin with Exobalm, which is an exosome cream, and then treat the skin after for recovery with an exosome cream. And that's made a huge difference. How much? Think $2,500 per session. My rule, CO2 is in fact a Ferrari. Don't learn to drive it in traffic. Meaning, see an experienced provider, a very experienced provider. Number 10, Erbium YAG lasers. Now the Pixel is one you guys asked me a lot about this year, but there's also Cyton, Photona, and there's other ones. They're all about 2940 in wavelength, so 2,940 nanometers. Remember, the CO2 is 10,600, right? So Erbium YAGs are that group of lasers. Cyton Jewel will be a very common one. What is it? So it's a blade of resurfacing like a CO2 with a different recovery profile. They're a little easier to use, easier recovery, but you can't really drive them like a Ferrari. They don't quite get to that high level of tunability for many of us that want to treat the skin. I would say custom. We can really custom tailor CO2 to get you phenomenal results. if you're willing to go through the downtime, the pre-care and the post-care, Erbium YAG, you don't have to be such an expert to use it, and you can get pretty good results still. Who's it for? Yes, those with poor texture. If you have resurfacing goals, you want smoother skin, but you want to balance that downtime and risk. The biggest mistake people make, under-treating and calling it done, or over-treating and creating prolonged irritation. So there's that balance, even with an Erbium YAG. My rule, they're best for most people to seek, so you're better off seeking these versus a CO2 unless you have a fantastic provider, then go to CO2. Like I said, it's telling. Most plastic surgeons are not going to do an Erbium YAG after facelift. They go to CO2. They want that power result. How much? You'll find these for about $1,000 a pop, $1,500 a pop, not unusual. Whereas remember, CO2 is more expensive. Number 11, deep chemical peels. I'm talking strong TCA beyond 20% and then deep phenol peels. What is it? It's a controlled chemical injury to resurface your skin, improve fine lines and texture. Who's best for this? Select patients who understand you're going to have downtime. You're going to look like you have pigmentation problems afterwards. It can be a bit scary. And when you go to a deep phenol peel, we use general anesthesia and we monitor your heart because there are systemic effects. You can go into arrhythmias and so on. These are the real deal, but you can get facelift-like results with a peel. This is not DIY. You do not do these at home. You will be scared at some point if you try to. My rule, if TikTok recommends it, assume it's missing the consent form. This is not a home treatment. How much? Well, $250 will get you a mild to moderate TCA. A deep TCA, you're looking at about $700. And a deep phenol, $2,500 to $5,000. I've seen them at $7,000 because it really is a medical procedure. Probably for most, you're really going to your light to medium peels for most of us. Number 12 is IPL or BBL photofacials. What is it? It's broad-based light used to treat redness and brown spots, what I call skin noise. Broadband light is filtered broadband, just like it talks about, into specific wavelengths, whereas lasers are just specific wavelengths of light. That's why BBLs can also be used to target reds, browns, even hair removal. Who's it for? Those with sun damage, freckles, and redness. That's where I think it works the best for those people with rosacea. Biggest mistake here, thinking one session is magic, or treating melasma aggressively with these because they can produce heat. You don't want to do that. My rule, IPL is a series, not a single miracle. How much? $400 a session is common, $2,000 for a package with an experienced provider. Number 13, hyaluronic acid fillers. I'm not talking flash fillers here, but I'm talking cross-linked hyaluronic fillers like Juvederm, Restylane that you know about, RHA fillers. And what's in is strategic microdosing. Hyaluronic acid, what is it? It's placed to restore structure and balance. It's how we create contours, big lips, straight noses. Who's it for? Those with true volume loss, those with contour deficits, those wanting structural support when it's planned out. Not, I need a pick-me-up today. I'll go and get a vial of filler. That's bad. A very popular use is those with influencers and OnlyFans models. It's where you guys say, hey, everyone's starting to look the same. That's fillers. So the biggest mistake is, yes, following trends of lips, the copy-paste face that ignores anatomy. Everyone looking the same. My rule, you don't fix a crooked picture by adding more nails. You level the frame. What do I mean? Collagen banking and biostimulators. That's where most of us should put our energy, not a lot of filler. How much? Fillers these days are about $900 a vial from legitimate great providers. Number 14, you did ask me about, talk about Botox a little bit. What's new? What do? We call them neuromodulators. What's in is refined placement. Microtox and baby Botox. Microtox is not baby Botox. Microtox is using small amounts of toxin all around the face for texture, tone, and fine lines. Baby Botox is the traditional area of around the eyes, the frown, or the forehead with smaller doses than normal. Typically about 60% of what we used to use. What toxins are available in Canada and the United States? Botox, of course, the original. Then Dysport, a little more powerful than Botox. Letybo, the latest from Korea. Xeomin, no binding proteins, so it's kind of said to be the clean one. And now the failed Doxify, which was supposed to last 6 months. We all knew it wouldn't, but it's still around. You can get it. Avoid that one. What's the best use in 2026 for botulinum toxin? It should be used more strategically for balance, not frozen faces. Think baby Botox. Microtox, for most people, it's not worth what you're going to pay for the result you're going to get. There's other treatments to use for tone and complexion. Who's it for? Those with the expression lines. I think the frown works the best. Then around the eyes. Foreheads, most people can avoid using toxin. There's so many other things you can do that lift the forehead rather than droop it, and toxin droops. The biggest mistake, going for cheap product, counterfeit or mystery toxin. Chasing a deal does not build collagen. My rule, if it's suspiciously cheap, it's not a bargain, it's a risk. Think $10 a unit. Anything under that, you need to be concerned. Number 15 is skin boosters, otherwise known as flash fillers. I have complete videos on that. I'll put up here. But these are skin quality injectables. These aren't for your framework of your face. Think that these, what's the components of these? Think amino acids, vitamins, minerals, non-cross-linked hyaluronic acid. Not the filler style like Restylane and Juvederm, but ones that flash. They're in there for a week or two and then they're gone, but they do longer term benefits. These injectables are approaches aimed at hydration, overall look, and skin quality, not volume. That's why flash fillers are in versus regular contouring fillers. Who's it for? Those looking to treat crepey skin, dullness, or what they say is, my skin looks tired, doc. They want some maintenance. That's flash fillers and flash biostimulators. Biggest mistake here, expecting lift or major volume change, because that's not what they're supposed to do. And number two, people take anything, they try and inject it. So a lot of these are non-sterile, not meant for injection, but providers will inject them because they're getting them cheap. So make sure whatever you're getting in your face is sterile and built for injection. My rule, boosters boost, they don't build bone structure. Collagen building, yes, and they're huge in Europe and Asia because of that. They don't change the way they look, they enhance what you already have. Number 16, and this is the first of a couple in regenerative, it's PRF. So what is it? You draw your blood, you spin it down in a specific centrifuge, and you get your own platelet area of the blood that has what? A fibrin matrix. So you get slow release of broad biological signaling. Growth factors, exosomes, stem cells, all from you. Who's it for? Those wanting improved under eye quality, more glow, you want to fix crepey skin and texture, you want subtle rejuvenation. You can pair it with devices to decrease healing times from, say, lasers, CO2, or microneedling. You can microneedle it in, great for collagen banking. They treat melasma, glow, and vibrance. Especially great for those people that want all natural. The biggest mistake with these, expecting filler-like volume and instant changes. Again, this is more of a longer-term gain, except the under eye. The under eye is pretty instant and it holds. You need a couple sessions. My rule, PRF is gardening, not Photoshop. Fillers are Photoshop, but they come with long-term price to pay. You decide. I'll choose natural for myself and my clients. How much? Anywhere from $600 to about $2,000 depending on what you're getting done. And you can use the gel form or the liquid form or combine them. Number 17, and this is a newer one to come to market and it's controversial. It's PDGF injections, platelet-derived growth factor. Now, it's a single growth factor. People are injecting it particularly under the eyes. We're seeing a lot of side effects from it now, and I warned you about this a year ago. Now, there's over 40 growth factors that you have in your body now. And that's what we're getting with PRF. But platelet-derived growth factor injectable is only one. Why wouldn't you want the other 39? The answer is you would. But a lot of people are too lazy to get and take blood and get a blood draw. They want it out of a package. They want synthetic. They want fake. That's PDGF. Why has it gone viral? Well, marketing, TikTok, and you can grab it out of a package, inject it under the eyes, and you see all these little bumps, much like with PDRN and exosomes, which we will talk about in a minute. But remember, you're only getting one growth factor, you're getting no exosomes and no stem cells, and it's synthetic. Who's it for? This is where I want people to slow down and ask, what product are you putting in your body? What's the indication? And what is the regulation and the data? Because there is none for PDGF on the face. It's not FDA approved. In fact, the FDA is looking at clinics who do this. So there are regulatory concerns. The biggest mistake, hype first medicine, unclear sourcing, risky claims, and legal regulatory gray zones. My rule, if the marketing is louder than the evidence, I'm out. So I'm out for this one. I would avoid PDGF. Number 18 is exosomes. So what are these? Signaling molecules marketed for recovery and skin quality. Now there's a huge variability between products, and when we test exosome vials, some of the products have 0 active exosomes, nothing in them. Where do they come from? They're mainly human-derived, coming from fat or bone marrow. There's also placental sources. There's also plant sources. And I have a cream that has rose stem cells exosomes. You guys might know it from that. But most exosomes in the bottle that people are getting injected in their face come from other people. Beneva is a great company that makes a nice injectable product. It's injected in Asia, but it's topically used over here, meaning it's microneedled in or it's used as a topical post-procedure. Who's it for? People pursuing recovery and texture strategies. For a product like that, think of $500 for a treatment vial. And that's where you watch my Korean videos, just like PDRN, you'll see people walking around and I show pictures of these people with little dots all over their face. That's from the Nappage technique of injection. Biggest mistake, treating exosomes like a single thing. They're not. Quality varies wildly, and clinics are going to try and get the cheapest one because you're not going to ask where did they come from. You need to. My rule here, if you can't tell me what it is and where it came from, it doesn't go on your face. Number 19, PDRN, known as the salmon DNA facial. What is it? It's a regenerative ingredient category. It's exploding in popularity because it came from Asia. It's fragments of DNA and RNA that help boost your own cells' genetic machinery. That's the best way to think of it. Popularized by Kim Kardashian when she was online and got the salmon sperm facial.
I got salmon sperm facial with salmon sperm injected into my face.
And that's PDRN and PN, polydeoxyribonucleotides and polynucleotides. They can be found in skin creams or injectable forms. Again, you see people going around Korea with all the little dots on their face. You watch me inject it over there. I have videos of that on the channel. I'll put one up here. And injectors in the US lose their license from injecting these things in the face because they're topicals. They're not FDA approved in the United States or Canada for injections. So who are these for? People focused on skin repair, tone, glow, and they want something that's new to them, something that they haven't had before that's kind of fashionable. Salmon sperm facial. The biggest mistake, getting illegal ones injected with a needle, not microneedled, that's fine, the topicals, but getting them injected where it's not legal. There are reports of nurses, NPs, PAs, losing their license, being questioned about their medical license, even going to jail for short periods of time. So be careful on this one. My rule, buy quality. Now, I told you I'll go over a couple things you absolutely must avoid. A, the plasma pen or fibroblast pens. What is it? It's really an arc device, an electrical arc device, a plasma arc device that intentionally injures your skin with burning heat, an arc. Who is this for? Honestly, very few people. Nobody really, but you'll see it used as an upper blepharoplasty alternative where people have loose skin on the upper eye. They don't want surgery and they're vulnerable going to clinics saying, well, we'll burn it off. Here's a picture of it here. The biggest mistake, scarring and pigment problems afterwards, especially higher skin types. So darker skin types get a lot of pigment problems. The problem is the scarring, you almost can't get rid of it. My rule, if the tool looks like a soldering iron, don't put it on your face. B, mystery peptides or growth factor injections. And you likely saw recently several people went to the ICU after getting injections at a conference in Las Vegas. They were hooked up to IVs and the article scared a lot of people, but not enough people heeded that warning. What are they? They're unverified cocktails being marketed like miracles, and people, like I said, are going to the ICU, they're not feeling well, and they're not doing well after the infusions. They don't even know what was put into their body. Why? Not because all peptides these products are bad, it's that the regulation is terrible. There's so much unregulated stuff. People are willing to hook their bodies up to IV infusions and not actually know what's being infused. It's crazy to me, but it's happening. My rule, if it's not clear, compliant, and sourced, it's a hard no. C, it's overstacking energy devices in the same area the same month. What am I talking about? People trying to tighten everything, stacking without mastery. Yes, it happens in Korea. You do thermage, you do Ulthera, RF microneedling, exfoliation, peels, exosomes, PDRN, all in a visit. But most people in the West aren't used to combining all of those, and they're used to going too aggressive. Classic would be RF microneedling. Adding just that alone, people go too high of doses. If you're going for a stacking treatment in Canada, in the USA, make sure you go to someone who's well-versed, who's done it before. Because a lot of people end up with too many post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation issues, brown spots, fat loss, yes, facial fat loss, that's devastating, and just overall looking dull. Why? Because the skin barrier is disruptive, and in Korea, in Japan, Singapore, they're used to taking care of their skin barrier much more than we are here. So, overstacking is something you want to avoid unless you're with an ultimate expert. My rule, you can't microwave your face into youth. Now, you'll want to watch this video to see how right or wrong I was last year with this same video on the trends, and one down here on red light, all about LED red light masks that you can safely add to whatever skin routine you're on to supercharge your mitochondria and level up your results. Stay tuned. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.